burning on in my heart. Fire. It wraps itself around me and all through the air I fly. Nee, wo hat sie auch gemacht. Hä? Was fehlte denn dann? Sie hat's doch gerade gesagt. Also pleasure, pleasure, but a fleeting melody. Er hat nur einmal Pleasure gesungen. Und hier steht zweimal Pleasure. Okay, das war's. So not many would notice. Forehead, that mixing board I lent you. Where is it? The mixing... Huh? That machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this. I'd completely forgotten about it. Let's take a listen. Ah, gut. Habe ich ja schon... Kann ich das jetzt nicht... Ich muss das jetzt nicht unbedingt nochmal hören. The song does stop there.
It does? I must have missed it.
Look at the lyrics sheet. At the top of the second verse, see where it says pleasure, pleasure. Now listen again. Hätte ich das vorhin gar nicht so genau nachgucken müssen. Ich hatte irgendwie befürchtet, dass ich das jetzt gleich zeigen und beweisen muss.
This is evidence indeed. I believe we're guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lamoureux's ballad.
If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter.
Das ist jetzt natürlich witzig. Das, was vorher das Alibi werden sollte, wird jetzt quasi Beweis, dass es nur noch die Person gewesen sein kann. Which means that Darian Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains.
What is that, Prosecutor Gavin?
Herr Forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lamoureux's testimony.
Yes, is there a problem with this?
Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant?
Objection!
But you have no proof. All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear. Until we hear directly from the man himself. Weil sie sich erschreckt hat, als ja, aber das kann sie auch einfach nur erzählen. Das ist halt nur ihre Aussage. Wir haben keine festen Beweise dafür, außer dass sie sagt, dass es so war. Until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man? You don't mean?
Yes. Though he is a friend and a band member, Darian Crescent must take the stand. I see no other way.
As someone with a new perspective of the case.
As a suspect, to be frank. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch him. Darian Crescent, get ready for justice.
This is as good a time as any to pause for a brief recess. I'm really hungry. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are.
Very well. Court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess.
Jetzt geht der Richter erstmal richtig strohlen. Das hat er nämlich vor dem Beginn der Verhandlung vergessen. July 10, 1:40 p.m. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act. And right in the middle of La Miroir's performance. The reason why she was in that air vent. And that switch and the flaming guitar, when you link it all together. That's what you end up with.
Endlich scheiß Mörderfälle. Pissen. Fuck, so gut.
I knew you had what it took. Oh, was machst du denn hier? Ah, Daddy! Mr. Wright, you believed in me? Not really. Hey. Huh? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance than say, hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Ah, sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latou's, only shorter and not as well dressed. Oh no, what if you're short too, Daddy? Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machito way off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darian Crescent. It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption, namely that our diva divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch? A piece of jewelry and a lyrical bundle. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But if the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo, that's where we found that little device thingy. Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense. Was ist das genau? Found at the crime scene bearing gunpowder residue, possibly a firecracker? That's all from me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darian Crescent's igniter and set it off. Ach, das ist die Schussimitation, von der ich die ganze Zeit gesprochen habe. Natürlich. Ich habe das schon wieder vergessen. Ich habe das doch zuletzt quasi 1000-mal gesagt, dass ich der Meinung bin, dass irgendwas da war, das einfach nur so klang, als wären Schüsse da gewesen, damit es so wirkt, als wäre der Mord beim dritten Set passiert. Und das, genau, Mopsi. Ja. Ich glaube, da warst du nie da, als ich das immer groß und breit meinte, dass das so sein muss. Es gab ja auch letztes Mal schon einen Hinweis, weil Valan Grammary, als der hier im Gerichtssaal kurz in der Defendant Lobby aufgetaucht ist, hat man vorher einen Schuss gehört, den er wohl irgendwie abgelassen hat. Ja, ihr müsst alle mal eure Spätschicht hier canceln, das gibt's ja wohl nicht. And he walked out the door just like a magician normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. Aber wenn ich selber nicht schon aufgekommen wäre, hättest du mir jetzt wahrscheinlich den Arsch gerettet.
Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescent?
In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time.
Very well.
Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3, but his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct? Oh, I know. Her forehead.
Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescent.
Name and occupation, please.
Darian Crescent, Detective, Criminal Affairs Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division, for those of you who didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Governors. Maybe you've heard of us. Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today?
Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner.
You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here.
The situation has changed, Darian. And don't call me partner.
So much for old friends.
I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial.
Yes, it's high time we did.
Richtiger was? Heikos Player? Was denn das?
Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lameroi's testimony, if in fact you have anything to say about it.
Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Virginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Huh. And wherever you're from. Conventional methods are out the window, huh? Here goes nothing. Ja, Bindestriche helfen manchmal.
Darian's rebuttal.
The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots. Tja. Was hat doch gesagt? Ach, as if. Didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man.
Hey, don't get me wrong, I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just because she's blind.
You go too far, Darian.
Look, all I'm saying is you've got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Detective Sky, I see.
Gunshots im third part, Gut, ich war also wenigstens nicht der Einzige, der da mangels Bindestrich ein bisschen verwirrt war.
Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
He didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this with Lameroi's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. And I will.
Oh, sorry.
The diva's lying, plain and simple. She got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots, as if. Ich glaube, das hier können wir noch nicht wirklich präsentieren, weil wir nicht wissen, was es sein soll. Wobei es heißt ja possibly a firecracker. So you think this was some kind of firecracker? Yeah, one of those noisemakers like you shoot off on New Year's. New Year's. Did you know that in China they use firecrackers on New Year's to scare off evil? So it's kind of the same thing. Really? I had no idea. Well, did you know this? It takes more than 500 peanuts to make one 12-ounce jar of peanut butter. At least my useless fact had something to do with the evidence. But thanks, Truthy. I totally needed to know that. Didn't think I must hear those gunshots during the third set anyway. Shooting the press. Ich presse erstmal. You don't have any proof she was lying. Oh yeah, kid? You saying I lied? No, I'm just saying, Apollo, glare back at him. I couldn't help it. I flinched by reflex. Detective Crescent. Yeah, what do you want? Nothing. Apollo, chin up, back straight. You're wilting. This guy's hard as nails. He makes Walkie look downright cooperative. Look, there's no way the diva remembers my voice. In the first place, she never heard my voice. You never talked to her, even though you were playing in the same concert? Not a word, as far as I can recall. But weren't there planning sessions or something? Gavin took care of all that himself. Darian wasn't involved in any of the meetings with her. As if you can just go around remembering everyone's voice like that anyway. Only an idiot would believe that. Oh, das hätte er jetzt mal sagen müssen, Christian. Lamoire's hearing is very sensitive. She could remember him if she heard him, I'm sure of it. I just can't prove it. And I need proof. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots and proof. We know she missed the words. The mixing board proved it. Oh yeah, there was a mistake, but blaming it on gunshots is just a lame excuse. What do you mean? Well, the mixing board proves what? It proves there was a mistake in the song, a missed cue. So she just floated up big time, that's all. She spins this story about a gunshot to protect the kid and cover for her own goof. Man, I'd have to hand it to her if she wasn't sticking it to me at the same time. Darian, watch what you say. Lamoire is an artist. She just flubbed it up? That's no small accusation for a performer of her caliber. She got to you all right. I can see it in your eyes. I tell you, most of her stuff is so pretentious it's way over my head. I'm detecting a rift in the Gaviners ranks. Ja, ich schätze, Clavier Gavin hat inzwischen gerafft, oder glaubt inzwischen selber, dass es Darian war und ist dementsprechend nicht mehr so freundlich zu ihm. Anyway, she's too close to the defendant. Her testimony can't be trusted. You asked me, I'd go with Detective Sky's story, The Drop of a Pig. Didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third anyway? Actually, I was there too. So I hear, which means you heard them too, right? The gunshots. Yes. We heard gunshots. Neither I nor Emma actually saw the shooting, mind you. I guess you and Lamoire got the same excuse then. We know one thing for certain here. There were gunshot-like sounds that emanated from that room during the third set. What we must determine is whether those sounds were actually gunshots. Archie heard them too. And remember, he said he ran for the adduct. When he heard them. So how do we figure out just what those gunshots during the third set were? Vielleicht müssen wir ja wirklich schon das Ding hier präsentieren. Ich hätte irgendwie nicht gedacht, wenn wir das kriegen, dass wir das direkt als erstes präsentieren müssen, aber probieren wir es jetzt mal. Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was this small device. That's the remote trigger igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burned? Not another guitar, I hope. Traces of gunpowder were found on these fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. How did Gavin know about this? What, you think Detective Sky works for you? I received the report this morning before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial, just in case. Ich sag's doch, der ist da drauf gekommen. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off, right when two witnesses came walking by? Huh. That's right. Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know someone was backstage right then? If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear, you get my drift. Why go through the trouble, man? How do I explain this? Ja, also ich meine, den Punkt hatten wir auch schon mal, dass es vielleicht gar nicht sein kann, weil wie will er das timen? Ich habe ja am Schluss dann gesagt, dass ich mich zu erinnern meinte, dass Emma da dann als Security hinten aufgestellt war. Aber vielleicht habe ich mich da auch falsch erinnert. Ich dachte, sie hätte das gesagt und deswegen das war dann meine Erklärung dafür. He may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. So any weakness and he's sure to find it.
He may not look it, partner. Gee, thanks, man.
That reminds me, I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself, and I saw something odd there just before the third set.
Something odd?
Da lag ja ein Headset auf dem Boden. Stimmt. Wahrscheinlich hat er darüber zugehört.
Und ich wette, die Stelle... Ne, nicht das. Die Stelle, wo er sich hier verspielt hat, war, wo er... Oh, die will ich doch gar nicht. Ich wollte eigentlich das andere. Na gut, egal. Ihr wisst ja, die Stelle, wo er sich verspielt hat, war bestimmt die Stelle, wo er über das Headset gehört hat, dass da gerade jemand redet und dann schnell den Switch ausgelöst hat.
The kind all the band and staff members are wearing. That's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. What if that headset wasn't dropped but placed? And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway, even if you were out on stage.
Whose side are you on, Gavin?
Listen to me, Darian. There are no sides in a court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Forehead. I have a question for you.
Huh?
For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset from the hallway into the maze and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake, we can't say. You've raised the possibility that the shots heard during the third set were faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case.
The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That right, Kevin?
Indeed, if you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless.
Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove the crime took place during the second set? Yeah, I think.
You better know, Apollo, otherwise we're through.
Can't be proven.
You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you.
Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness your testimony if you would.
This isn't going to be easy. I need some decisive proof and fast.
You ready, kid? 'Cause I am.
Oh, das ist alles? But the gunshots heard during the third set could have been...
What? Some kind of setup? I've heard that one before.
We need proof, Apollo. We need to prove that the shooting took place during the second set.
Well, if you know how to do that, I'm all ears.
Maybe the gunshots are the key after all.
What do you mean?
Well, Lameroa said she heard them, right? Right in the middle of her illusion when she was up above the ceiling. When she forgot the words to the song, yeah. If you can prove the gun was shot right when she missed those lyrics, we're home free, I think.
True. Not easy, but true.
Is there some way to prove...
Was, wenn man das hier hört? Wie viele Spuren haben wir hier? Also war 5, ne? Aber ist hier irgendeine, die... Das ist Schlagzeug? Das müsste ja bei ihr zu hören sein. Da. da. Man hat's gehört. Man hat's gehört. Oh, scheiße. Jawohl. Are you supposed to be cross-examining me? Oh, dir wird das Grinsen gleich vergehen.
Take a quick look through the court record. He's pretty eager to paint Lamerois as a liar, isn't he?
Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case.
This is tough. So what...
Ich weiß doch schon, lass mich jetzt einfach... Got a few ideas. Just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did.
It seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lamerois' song.
A song? What exactly is this device thingy?
Jetzt komm nicht wieder mit neues Telefon.
A new variety of gramophone, perhaps?
Come on, we just used this, and don't get me started on a gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part.
Part?
You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lamerois' voice included.
Oh, but what does this prove?
According to Lameroi's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, yeah? We might even hear those gunshots. Haben wir schon. Exactly. Ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Darian? Vielleicht wusste der nicht, wie der Trick funktioniert. We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance, but Lameroi's headset would have picked up what she heard all the same.
Then let's get to analyzing that recording. Right now.
Lamerois stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. Hab ich schon. Yara, listen to this part.
What's this?
Oh, ich habe, glaube ich, das Falsche. Can you just find? Thank you very much.
I saw what you were thinking on your face.
Our judge's hearing aside, I too heard nothing, leading me to believe there is nothing there to be heard. Oh, I guess that's the wrong spot. Ja, wahrscheinlich war nicht die richtige Spur markiert. Ich dachte, es reicht, wenn ich das einfach alles stumm schalte und das eine hochgedreht habe und dann präsentiere. A penalty on behalf of all who are hearing impaired, you insensitive breaker. Es war übrigens witzig. Suggest this once more if you would. Ja, haben sie ja schon. Naja, hier beim Runterziehen wurden andere Spuren ausgewählt. Ich muss natürlich jetzt wieder die Spur hier auswählen. You are. Listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lameroi's vocals.
I did hear something. Faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot.
What? This has to be some kind of mistake. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lameroi's testimony was true.
Gah.
Oh, jetzt haben wir ihn bei den Eiern.
Order! So she was telling the truth about what she heard?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Letus.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch. Now. Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescent, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it.
But why did we only hear one gunshot at the recording?
Oh. Stimmt, es waren noch zwei.
Weren't 2 bullets fired from this weapon?
Lamerois was moving through the airband, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. Oh, ja gut, das kann natürlich sein. But then as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again, and Mr. Letus's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescent? Once again I'm reminded of something. Our performance that day. Es ist jetzt schon irgendwie witzig, wie Gavin uns gerade eine Sache nach der anderen in die Hände spielt. Es wirkt so ein bisschen, als wäre er gerade ganz schön angefressen davon, dass Darian das war. Und will den jetzt selber hinter Gittern sehen.
Your performance?
Seeing the mixing board jog in my memory. You were there too, Herr Forehead. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Achtung. My heart won't start. My guitar case is busted. My guitar has been burned to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was this performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off. Which is that? Second guitar. It was you, Darian. I thought it strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that. Yeah, well,
You what? Prosecutor Gambit, what are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Letus's 45 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. Ach so. Hat das dazu geführt, dass er nicht mehr richtig spielen kann. Also, ich habe eigentlich gedacht, dass er in dem Moment halt vielleicht über das Headset gehört hat, dass da gerade jemand redet und deswegen schnell gefummelt hat, um den Knaller loszulassen. Wobei es natürlich, dann hätte er wahrscheinlich einfach ganz aufgehört zu spielen. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait, You mean his playing was infected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver?
You're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Crescent. I am a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur.
The standard sidearm issued to police officers is a 38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche, which suggests there was a struggle between killer and victim.
So, the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean?
The thought had occurred to me, yes.
Oh. Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescent!
What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say.
Hey, you, attorney.
Me?
Examine which piece of your evidence is decisive again. You got a little noise in the tape that could be anything. And you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin, I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager, and that's the obvious truth. The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescent. Again, tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it.
Okay, jetzt müssen wir nochmal alle genau mitdenken, damit wir den jetzt endlich Eier kriegen.
Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason. Easy, I got no motive, man. This was that diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been to our country before?
According to our records, yes, not even once.
I see, very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
Great, now I need to find a motive. War doch vorhin schon so schön am Schwitzen. Why would I even want to kill that manager? Her manager, sure, but Mr. Latouche was...
Alright, sorry, I'm an Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lung as an undercover cop, you dig? And not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted.
That's cold, dog.
Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was. I got no motive, man.
But that's the same for Machi. No motive was proven for him.
Come on, he traveled around the world with that old fart. He had plenty of time to come up with a motive of his own. More than I sure did. I mean, think about it.
This was that diva's first trip to this country, right? Darian, you're a detective with international affairs?
Yeah, what of it?
Even though this was Mr. Latouche's first trip to this country, you still could have met him prior to the contest. Das habe ich auch schon gedacht, als ich gelesen habe, dass er International Affairs war. Oder ist. Habe ich schon gedacht, vielleicht war der ja mal irgendwie da und hat irgendwas wegen diesen Eiern oder keine Ahnung gelernt. You still could have met him prior to the concert.
Huh.
Or don't you take any international trips in international affairs?
That's right. Well, Detective Crescent. That's your game, is it? Guess I'd better confess then. Confess? Yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment, but I've never been sent overseas.
What? But you're an international...
See, me and Plains got a difference of opinion. We don't like each other much.
My condolences, Herr Forehead, but he's telling the truth. He's never set foot outside the country, I can guarantee it.
As it turns out, my division has plenty of work to do locally as well.
That's so unfair. How could I possibly know her manager? So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert?
Fraternize? I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to talk to that old Eastern blockhead. No, the ladies, that's a different matter altogether. So, you see, if I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him?
You sure about that?
What? Wipe the look off your face before I do it for you. Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations. I'll throw it back at you so hard you'll forget who you're accusing of what.
Herr Forehead, perhaps it's best if you let your evidence do the talking, yeah?
Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know.
So he's using this motive question as ammunition, huh? Well, I've got ammunition too. Evidence. Echt? Wisst ihr irgendwas?
Gucken wir mal.
Die Lyrics ja wahrscheinlich nicht. Oh, nein, das wollte ich nicht drücken. Ich könnte höchstens mal dieses Ei präsentieren. Ne? Weil das hatte der Typ ja. Oh, jetzt habe ich wieder zu weit gedrückt. Why would I want to kill him? Vielleicht wegen dem Ei. Also ich nenne das jetzt gerade Ei, was auch immer es genau ist. Diesen Kokon. Your Honor, take a look at this.
What is that? Looks like candy.
It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescent, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings.
A cocoon? Never seen one that color.
It is a variety only found in the Republic of Virginia. Nowhere else.
Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Latouche, does it?
It does. Wait, I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man.
A cocoon? Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of?
Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative.
A curative for what?
Apparently it is most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Virginia.
Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
What?
There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out onto the black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware.
Intriguing.
All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export, one rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others.
Interpol?
Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescent, you insist on referring to him as a manager, but that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager, he was killed as an undercover agent.
So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder.
Oh, so I was going to sell it on the black market and make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable.
Unthinkable, you say. Why?
Perhaps it's time for another testimony about this smuggling of cocoons business.
International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bother about them. Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in international affairs. I know the deal.
Indeed, Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover.
You can think up the craziest things, but no way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money.
Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted.
According to reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky.
Very well, you may begin the cross-examination.
This is the only motive I've got. Vielleicht hat ja wirklich der, wie hieß, wessen Sohn war das nochmal? Der Sohn, der Incuritis hat. Vielleicht hat der Vater von dem ja wirklich Darian beauftragt, so ein Ding zu besorgen. Ich habe doch erst geschätzt, dass der Richter das war, aber der Richter hat ja auch nur den Sohn besucht und das war der Sohn von irgendeinem anderen hohen Tier. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something and I'm going to find out what. Vom High Justice. Tja, der hat wohl von High Justice zu High Crime gewechselt. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. That memo, that's how you knew about the cocoons. Oh, nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now. You had to know about the cocoon supplying this.
Just how well known are these? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I've never heard of them.
Well, Lamerois knew about them, though not their use. My reports indicate that there are ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons. Most people only know they're illegal to export, that's all.
Then I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all.
You could say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah. But that includes everyone in international affairs, man. And everyone in Interpol, too, for that matter. Yeah. Was? Minority oder Minority? Jetzt bin ich mir gerade nicht mehr sicher. Interpol is all hot and bothered about them. So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche. All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Most came to the conclusion that can't sell them on the black market. Dangerous. Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketeer might think you're part of the sting and take you out himself. Times have changed. Cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. But wouldn't scarcity drive up prices? Yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They'd turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair too. Who's on trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about the market. And that's a bad thing. Ich muss ja übrigens gerade mal sagen, heute ist das Internet ja voll gut. Ist noch nicht einmal ausgefallen, oder? Ist es nur Mittwoch der verfluchte Vodafone-Tag? Vielleicht hätte ich es auch nicht zu laut sagen sollen. Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff. International affairs, I know the deal. Which is why you'd know how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off of international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts? That wasn't what I was trying to say. Down, Darien, it is as you say. There are no loopholes, at least in the case of these cocoons. International affairs, Interpol, and Virginian customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies that lap up every word that diva says. Why, oughta what? You want some of this? Chill, both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah? Screw cool. How with this guy's hat on his stick? Oh, Jesus, Apollo. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Mopsy muss jetzt hier wieder helfen. Ich würde sagen, der Bericht könnte hier helfen. Weil es könnte jetzt wieder lukrativ sein, wenn das Inkuritis-Syndrom sich hier verbreitet. War wohl richtig. Why not choose a less dangerous... Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? Scheiße, habe ich jetzt echt recht, dass der High Justice Darien engagiert hat, so ein Ding zu kriegen?
That article, that's about the Chief Justice's...
About the Chief Justice? A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease, a cure for incuritis.
Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere.
You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning.
Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying...
Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice.
You are saying... The Chief Justice would never deal in contraband.
Not even to save his own son's life.
But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal.
That's Detective Crescen's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Oh, scheiße. Hab ich jetzt echt recht gehabt? Der fucking Chief Justice hat das in Auftrag gegeben.
Detective Crescent, is this true?
First, I'm a murderer and I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway?
Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why the seller couldn't hope for a better deal. Very cowardly seller.
Don't let sleeves over there trick you.
So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof?
Well, oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell.
Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Virginian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about Kokon's getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
Virginian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death. And if that's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. Ich weiß wie. Ich weiß wie. Aber ich hole mir jetzt noch immer ein Bier. Vielleicht wisst ihr es auch.